I'm just going to prep my breakfast for tomorrow. I am having a change up. Now, previously, before I started Slim World, I used to do a lot of overnight oats, but I would use full fat flavoured yoghurt and a lot of seeds and nuts. And now I've actually changed things up to be more on plan. So I am going to flip the camera around and show you how much I use, and I will talk you through how many swips the seeds and nuts I'm putting in are using up. I'm going to measure out the ones I mix into the oats, so it makes things quicker in the morning. And I will show you weighing out my oats, and I put milk with mine so it soaks in overnight. I know some people just use yogurt, but actually I like to use some of my milk allowance in the oats, and then I am going to put some of my Sky yogurt on top tomorrow, which I'll also add some mixed spice to as well. So let's flip the camera around for you. So my pot is all ready there. I'm going to just turn my scales on, which will zero them, and I can have 40 grams of porridge oats, a healthy extra. Now, I'd normally hold the bag and fill this up, but I've got a pot to one side that I'm going to put my spices in, so we'll just pop this in. Just need a little bit more. There we go, 40 grams. Brilliant. Just dropped a little bit, so I'll just put a few more in. There we go. So I'm going to zero. Sorry, that was my. There we go. Scales are playing up tonight. I'm going to zero that now. Then I'm going to add my milk from my allowance. Now I know there's not much left in this smaller bottle. I'm not lactose intolerant, but hubby is a little bit, and so is Becca, so that's why we've got lacto-free, and I don't actually have any of my skimmed milk at the moment, so it's semi-skimmed. So we're going to put about 80 ml, so we'll change that to ml. So do twice as much as oats. So you can see there's only 48 ml in that one, so let's open the big pack. Try and pour this carefully because it is much bigger and full. So oh well, that's a tiny bit over, but that won't matter, it won't make it too loose. Now I don't need to weigh up my spice. I like it quite spicy, so I'm going to not that much. I did bring a spoon over, so I'll just go and get one. Now I'm just going to give that a mix up. So the spice is blended in with the oats and the milk. This will infuse overnight in the fridge. It looks nicely mixed. Lovely. I'll just put the lid on my Kilner jar. And that's going to go in the fridge shortly, overnight. Let's move those out of the way. Now, I will have half a teaspoon of mixed nuts, half a teaspoon of sunflower seeds, and a whole teaspoon of chia seeds, and each of those will be 1 swip each. So I'm going to weigh those out in here. Just a second, I just need to take my clips off. I've opened up my packets. I've got a half teaspoon measure. So obviously the chia seeds, I will put 2 of these in, but it means I can measure them exact. So there's 1/2 teaspoon. It's a bit under that one, but there's a teaspoon of chia seeds in there. And a couple on the side, so we'll get those because it was a bit under. There we go. We'll have half a teaspoon of mixed nuts. Just gives a little bit of crunch. And half a teaspoon of sunflower seeds. I was putting a teaspoon of the sunflower seeds and the mixed nuts, but that's 2 swips. So I'm going to try it tomorrow with the half teaspoon and see if it just gives me enough crunch. So I'm going to just cover this little pot up, but it will make it quicker to add to the oats in the morning. So I've just put some cling film over the top of my seeds and nuts. That can just rest over here. I'm just going to pop this into the fridge overnight. I've just popped it in next to my fruits that I have with my skyer. I will top this somewhere around here with some skyer that I will mix with some spice, and then I will put some blueberries and pomegranate seeds. I might put some strawberry in as well, but we'll come back in the morning and we'll show you how that goes. So good night, little oats, have a nice sleep. So it's the next morning and I have got my overnight oats, which have absorbed the milk, out of the fridge. So we're going to get them ready now. And I have got my ingredients that I'm going to put into them ready on the side. So let's get to that. So you can see there's my oats. Take the lid off. I did loosen everything up first, not using my tripod. So there they are. We're going to give those a stir through. I've got a glass here because I'm going to put my skyer yogurt into that. Add some mixed spice. But I'm also going to chop some raspberries and put them through the yogurt to give that some flavour, and then we'll top the oats up with that. I'm going to put some blueberries on top. I might have to cut a few because they're quite large. I've got a strawberry which is quite large, so I'm going to cut this into some pieces and put that with the blueberries on top. I'll top it with some pomegranate seeds, but I've just realised I have forgotten my pumpkin seeds that I like to top my overnight oats with, so I'm just going to go and get those. Okay, so I've just got my pumpkin seeds here, so let's get on with it. So the first thing I'll do is stir this through. Should have set my tripod up. I'm going to do that off camera. As you can see, I've given that a nice stir through and loosened it up. If you remember, I weighed out a teaspoon of chia seeds, half a teaspoon of mixed nuts and half a teaspoon of sunflower seeds. They're in here, so I'll unwrap that, but they will get stirred through into the oats. So I'm just going to unwrap that. And plonk those in. Will be quite a nice mixture. I'll just stir those through. As you can see, actually does look like a good amount of seeds and nuts in there, which will give it some nice crunch. Now I'm going to put in here some scaya, and then I'm going to chop these raspberries, add some mixed spice, put the raspberries in and give that a nice mix through before topping that onto the oats. Let's see if I can get the scaya in there. I'm going to switch the camera. So I couldn't do it. I will need to set a tripod up and not be so lazy. Add some mixed spice. Not too much because it's in the oats. I'm just going to chop these raspberries up, add them, and then give it a mix together to top it on to my oats. So I have stirred through the mixed spice. You can see it's speckled there. I've chopped the raspberries. I'm just going to pop those in. If by magic, give those a stir through. Ta-da! So it's given it a tiny pink hue, which is most appealing. So I'm going to pop that onto my oats. As you can see, the yogurt is a good ratio to the oats. Now I just need to chop up my strawberry. I might chop some of the blueberries because they appear to be fairly chunky ones. So I will just get on to that and then we will finish topping the overnight oats. Just chopped up most of the blueberries, my strawberry. I've got one blueberry which I'm going to pop in the centre for aesthetics. I've taken the lid off my pomegranates. I've weighed out half a teaspoon of my pumpkin seeds. So I'm ready to top. So we're going to throw in the strawberries. Don't have to be too accurate with them. I'm going to put some blueberries in too. As you know from my fruit and yogurt, I do like to load things up with as many speed foods as I can, so this will look very loaded, but that's good. Some blueberries. Let's put this little guy in the middle. Pretty. Now I washed this little spoon too, so we'll pop some pomegranate seeds on. I do love pomegranate jewels. Let's make sure we can see that little guy in the middle. That'll make a nice thumbnail. A few more. There we go. Oh, one escaped. And we go. Okay, so the only thing left to do is pop these pumpkin seeds on. That final bit of crunch, and half a teaspoon is perfect. Look at that. I'm going to just put pomegranate seeds back in the fridge, take a thumbnail for the channel, and then go and enjoy this. Let's see how tasty it is. The fruit is divine. Hi, Pixie. And of course, the fruit, apart from the pomegranate seeds, are speed foods. The 40 grams of oats are my fibre choice, healthy extra. And the 80 mils of milk are part of my calcium choice. The seasoned nuts are swipped, but it's just with half a teaspoon of each and just a teaspoon of chia seeds, because chia seeds are low in fat, probably because they're so tiny. It's just 3.5 swips of this. Truly delightful. Now I'm going to go and put Pixie out of the way before she gets my breakfast. She's had hers, and I'm going to go and enjoy this with my coffee. So enjoy the rest of your day. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Give me a like, give me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Tell me, how do you make yours? Have a good day. Bye-bye.